Interest rates are up. Housing supply is up. Costs of goods are up. Costs at the gas pump are up. It feels like everything is going up. But in real estate, when certain things go up, other things drop down. Could this have an effect on pricing? It's no mystery that mortgage rates have skyrocketed since January. In fact, this graph shows that just since January, mortgage rates have more than doubled, which has never, ever happened before in less than the span of a year. In October, we even hit 7%, which is the highest rate we've seen in over 20 years. This is all unprecedented, which to me is saying that if what we've been through was unpredictable, the market we're about to head into is going to be unpredictable too. Industry experts cannot predict exactly what interest rates are going to do, but they are generally predicting that interest rates are going to respond to inflation. So how is that going to affect home pricing? This is such a fascinating nuance because while homes are not necessarily appreciating in value like they were, they're not really plummeting in value either. And this depreciation graph is really a fascinating illustration of that. What you can see in the green part of this graph is the values are still positive. They're just not growing as fast. As we look into the pricing earlier this year, you start to see some of those little dips happening, but we haven't yet gone into the red, which would mean homes are losing value and worth less than what you paid for them. And what I would say is that while prices are absolutely starting to come down, I'd argue that it's the imaginary equity that we're losing. Let me explain. Last year, let's say the Smiths put their house on the market in your neighborhood for $400,000. And it was a really great price, and everybody in the neighborhood hoped that they got $400,000 because that would bring up everybody's value. Well, in 2021, they listed their house at $400,000. In 2 days, it got 25 offers, and because of escalation clauses and the excitement of buyers, it sold for $450,000. And 2 months later, the Petersons decided to sell their house of a similar size and condition as the Smiths. And because the Smiths got $450,000, they decided to list their house at $475,000. They got 10 offers in 4 days and ended up selling their house for $480,000. 4 months after that, the Jones family put their house up for sale and they listed it for $480,000. After 8 days on the market, they got 2 offers and they sold for $480,000. So now in fall of 2022, you've listed your house in the same neighborhood and you listed for $490,000. And it's been 2 months and you've heard crickets. You finally do some price reductions and you sell your house for $465,000. It feels like a loss, doesn't it? But let's go back to the Smiths. When they listed their house for $400,000 based on the comps and actual sales in your neighborhood, that was a phenomenal price for your subdivision. But because of the craziness of this market with crazy low interest rates and a pandemic and no supply, a slew of offers came in and that created artificial equity. So if we went a year ago and told you that you were gonna list your house and sell it for $465,000, you would have been ecstatic. But now, because some of that demand has waned as interest rates have gone up and uncertainty has increased, it feels like you've left money on the table. So when it comes to prices, yes, prices are dropping. But homes, for the most part, are not depreciating because there's still positive value there. They're not selling for less than the person paid for it. So that artificial equity from the pandemic craziness may have tampered down, but you're still able to sell your house at a profit. Top industry experts are somewhat split on what they think prices are going to do, and I think that really just reflects into the uncharted territory that we're headed into. The common thread that you do see is every one of these industry experts has pulled back from their initial predictions for 2023. And in fact, when you average them all together, the average predicted appreciation is under 3%. You may recall back earlier in 2022, some people were predicting 5 to 8% appreciation into this next year. And truth be told, 3% is normal, because what we've seen in the last 18 to 24 months was anything but normal. So yes, we are seeing prices drop. And I don't even like to use the word drop, because I think what we're seeing is houses just aren't skyrocketing as quickly. So as a seller, you may not get $50,000 over asking, but I'm willing to bet you're gonna get a strong offer, you're gonna sell for a profit, and you're gonna walk away with money in your pocket, which in 2008, 9, 10 was not the case, and sellers were having to bring money to the closing table. You're gonna walk away more than likely with money in your pocket, and that's something that's really good that's being missed here. And for buyers, we're seeing a bit of breathing room. You're able to actually think about a house for more than 24 hours. The multiple offer situations have lessened quite a bit. And no, you cannot get a house at half price, but you've got some negotiating power. And just remember, the sooner that you get into home ownership, the quicker that you're gonna start building that value and equity that today's sellers are already reaping the benefits of. Are you feeling the market shift in your area? It's something I've been talking about for several months, but it's actually here. So are you a buyer who's feeling like you have some breathing room and things are a little bit easier? Or are you perhaps a seller who's a little frustrated or feeling discouraged? Have a discussion down below in the comments, because I want to see what's happening around your area. And if you're in the Gainesville, Alachua County area, supply and demand is absolutely affecting housing prices, and I'm gonna drill down specifically how that's happening. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.